TGO, Tom Gruenwald Outdoors, is brought to you by HT, premium ice tackle since 1974. Polar Fire Gear, this is how it's done. Tourism Saskatchewan, Canada's best freshwater fishing. Vexilar, ice fishing begins when you turn your Vexilar on. Kalispell, Montana, discovery in every direction. And these other fine sponsors.
Hello everyone and welcome to Tom Gruenwald Outdoors. I'm Tom Gruenwald. Today we're fishing in South Dakota, specifically the Glacial Lakes region. And I've hooked up with Scott Gango from Fish Hunter Guide Service. He knows this area really well. There's a lot of water here. There's a lot of opportunities for multi-species fishing. And the reason I chose this area, we got a very special guest, Gary Coleman. And Gary is the inventor of the Ice Rigger. The Ice Rigger is something unique and in and of itself. It's basically an elaborate rod holder. What's really neat about it though is when a fish bites, there's a flag, a tip-up style flag that pops up to indicate that you've got a strike. And this, since it's a rod holder, it will work with virtually any system. Doesn't matter if I'm using an ultralight system for panfish or a heavy action rod and reel that I might be fishing for pike or even lake trout for that matter. So it's very, very versatile. And Gary is along with us today. He's going to show us exactly how this system works. And you're going to be very impressed if you haven't tried this yet because it's so amazing. You put the rod in the holder, when the flag pops up, it's not an automatic hook set type system. The bail on your spool and on the reel is open, so the line free spools off. You can go over when you're ready, snap the bail shut, pick up the slack, and set the hook on the fish. It's really, really an effective way to fish, and it's a lot of fun. And I can't think of a better area to be than in the Glacial Lakes region of South Dakota because of the multi-species opportunities we have here. We've got a lot of perch, we've got quite a few pike, and there's even some walleyes in a few of these lakes. Scott's going to help us out, see if we can get on a few of these fish. And we're going to set up some of the ice riggers with ultralight systems for the perch and for the walleyes. A couple of heavier action things with bigger chubs to see if we can catch some pike. So let's go and hook up. We'll talk to Scott a little bit about the area that we're going to be fishing here in South Dakota and this Glacial Lakes region, and then we're going to get to meet Gary, the inventor of the Ice Rigger. He's going to show us how these things work right here on TGO. All right, well, joining us now is Scott Gango from Fish Hunter Guide Service. And Scott, you've grown up here in this Glacial Lakes region of South Dakota, and it really provides some fabulous fishing, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky to live where I live, Tom. You know, I'm fourth generation on our family farm. You know, my dad grew up here, I grew up here, and now I've got a little son that he's gonna grow up here as well. And we're pretty lucky to live where we live. We've got a lot of lakes in a small area with a lot of fish to catch.
And there's more and more acres appearing all the time. I mean, this is just an incredible story.
It is. Back in the mid-90s, you know, a lot of these lakes, you know, like the one we're fishing today, were just duck sloughs. You know, 3-4 feet of water, and then all of a sudden we magically had snow, magically had rain, and now we've got lots of water and lots of fish.
Yeah, and you've got multi-species opportunities out here. I mean, stereotypically, a lot of people think of South Dakota as perch. They think of walleyes, but there's a lot more opportunities for other species as well.
Yeah, you're exactly right. With our guide service, we get a lot of people coming up looking for the glory fish of walleyes, looking for perch, but that's not all we have to offer. You know, we have world-class smallmouth fishing in the summer. You know, we have bluegills, we have crappies, we've got very good northern pike fishing. You know, and the thing is, we have so many different lakes and sloughs and puddles where these fish are, you know, you're not just limited to one lake when you come up. There's lots of places to fish.
Now, we're very fortunate. We've got Gary Coleman along, the inventor of the ice rigger. So we're going to try to set some ice riggers, and I'm thinking we'll maybe set some lighter systems for perch and some bigger chubs and so on for pike. So what's the layout here, kind of? Do you got a spot? Do you think we can work that combination?
Yeah, the spot that we're fishing today, you know, we're on a small body of water, but there's an island out in the middle of it, and we're just fishing the point of that island. You know, we've got a depth change. You know, we're going from about 8 feet to about 15 feet. You know, we also have a weed line in up shallow, and those fish are just milling around, and they're using that structure and that depth change to be active and to find the bait fish that they're feeding on.
Okay, so we'll just see if we get a few ice riggers, kind of line up along those contours and intercept the fish.
Exactly. We'll just set a spread out, and hopefully the fish cooperate well with us today.
All right, very good. Well, Scott, I really appreciate your help here today. We'll go see if we can get Gary and get some of these ice riggers set.
Sounds good, Tom.
All right.
TGO, Tom Gruenwald Outdoors.
Well, Gary, thanks so much for coming out here. This is great. You know, I really want to show people how the ice rigger works, and I'd like to tell them a little bit about the history of it. And I can't think of a better person, of course, to do that than with the inventor. Now, you've got one of the original ice riggers here. It's actually one of my favorite ways to fish. You know, people talk about all the different ways that you can actually go out there. You got tip-ups and jigging, and you got the automatic hook sets and everything. But this is really a unique product, and it is a lot of fun to fish with. Could you walk through it and show us?
Sure, not a problem. First thing you like to do is get the depth you like to fish. Usually 2-3 foot off the bottom, get the depth.
Yep.
Kind of lock the bail in, get your rod set in the ice rigger. Bait up, of course. Set the line in the line clip.
Now you're taking the line right off of the reel?
Right off the reel or out of the first or second eye, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
One or the other, not out here.
Okay.
So we take the line, put it in the line clip, clip it up closer to the end for a nice light release for fishing walleye, crappie, in deeper for northern.
And one of the most exciting parts of the ice rigger is you get the combination, or the thrill of the flag, I like to say. You get to see the tip-up flag pop, and yet when a fish does bite, you control the hook set and you get to fish them on a rod and reel. Your hands stay dry, you don't have to handle any wet line, and you get to feel the fun of fighting a fish on a rod and reel.
Well, originally I just wanted to catch big fish on a small rod. So I was out one day in the ice shanty, caught a nice big northern 8.5 pounder on my small jigging rod, and I figured there had to be some way to get a setup, like a tip-up, with a rod in it. And I worked with it for a couple years, finally got it down to about the size of a tip-up. Nice and comfortable, simple, basically 2 moving parts.
Simple as that. Now, what's really nice about this, everyone, is you've got the tip-up flag, basically, so when a fish bites, the flag's going to go up. You're still able to fight the fish on the rod and reel.
Right.
So your hands are never touching the wet line, so when it's cold outside, that's a big deal. But now what happens, you can just show Gary how that now a fish will bite. They're going to pull a line from the rod tip. When that happens,
Trips the lever, pulls free of the line clip, so now it's free spooling.
and now the fish feel absolutely no resistance, just like they would with a tip-up, but instead of
Exactly.
having to touch the wet line, you can set the hook and you can reel the fish in with the rod and reel.
So then you just take up the slack, you start feeling the fish, close your bail.
Yep.
As soon as you feel that fish,
Set the hook and fight them just like you would on a
Fish
rod and
out.
reel. This is just one of the most exciting things I've seen come out yet. We got tip-ups, we can jig, we can use auto hook sets, there's bobbing, there's all different types of techniques for ice fishing, but this ice rigger is really unique. I think it's one of the more fun ways to fish. What do you say we go out there and try to catch a few, Gary?
that sure sounds good to me.
All right,
Let's
me
do
too.
it.
Let's go. Okay. All right, Gary, show us how it's done. It's the ice rigger.
Doesn't feel like a very big one, but I think he got down in the weeds.
That's all right.
But he's still there.
Put a pretty good bend in the rod, though.
Took a lot of line.
Boy, that's fun. Those flags pop up, and the fish make long runs. And what are you running on there? You've got like a 10-pound Par Pro or something? That's a heavy.
Yeah, it's actually a spider wire.
Okay.
I run a 20-pound test on these just because we're fishing a bigger northern.
And you've got a wire leader on this one, if I remember right.
Yes, there's a wire leader on this one. Boy, he peeled a lot of line.
Well, you know, and that's the advantage of these ice riggers. Those fish can hit and they can run. It's just like a tip-up spool. You don't feel any resistance. They can keep going. We had a pretty good sized minnow on there too.
Yeah. Okay, we're getting close. Oh, come on.
Just be easy, take it easy. Once we get near the hole here, it's probably got a few weeds on it. If you took that much line out, I'm sure they get a clump of weeds gonna come with the fish's head.
Oh yeah. There it is. Not a big one, but
Well, it shows the system works.
yes,
anyway.
at least you know it does work.
No, it's fun. I mean, you set these ice riggers, the flags pop up just like a tip up. You get up there, you can see the line spooling off of the reel spool because it free spools. And you set the hook and fight the fish. You need the mouse spreaders or you got it?
Yeah.
When you are fishing out in really, really cold weather like this, whether you're tip-up fishing or using a rod, anything at all, if you stop, you're trying to get the hooks out, or if you're trying to take a picture of your fish, do it quickly. Make sure you get them back in the hole because eyes freeze and gills can freeze up those membranes very quickly, and those fish, even try to release them, probably aren't going to survive. So you want me to hold that while you grab your cutters?
Yes.
All right, nice job.
Brandon, thank you.
Boy, that one really hammered. This is one of the big ones too, the big chubs. I'm just going to double check, make sure the drag's good here. There he is.
That's a good hook set.
Oh, this is a little bit bigger fish, bigger than my perch, Gary. Anyway,
Yes, I think so.
a bigger perch.
It's a big perch. Look at that perch.
I love it. I love it.
He had a roach that was 3 inches long.
That was a big, yeah. We had this one actually set for pike, but that goes to show you what you can catch here in South Dakota. That's a nice perch. And we're trying to mix it up a little bit. We've got some baits set, some bigger chubs. Try to catch some pike. We got some mid-sized minnows for walleyes, and then we got some smaller ones set for perch. And this perch didn't know that this was a line for bigger fish, I guess.
No, you didn't.
There's more fishing action to come right here on TGO.
Oh yeah. There you go. What you got?
I'm not sure. I know it's a fish.
I got a little better bend than that.
Yeah, I think it might be a walleye
That'd be nice.
or a big perch.
Oh yeah, he's still.
Oh, here he comes. Here he comes.
Take it easy. Don't lose him at the hole. Let him go. Got the drag set on there?
Yeah, I'm back reeling.
Oh yeah, there you
There's
go.
another walleye.
Come here, guy. There you go.
All right,
Yeah,
that works.
those clouds just kind of moved in, and it seems like as soon as those clouds moved in, it kind of triggered the
Good.
fish. That's 2 walleyes now. All right, we'll let that one go. All right,
in the
nice
right
job.
ways.
Nice job.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love catching those fish on these ice riggers. That is fun. Yeah, and you know, I guess that's another point to make too. It's really, really, really cold. The temperature's fallen quite a bit here, and just the combination of what we're doing. We've got some of the holes we put hole covers on, which has really, really helped. But we've got ice stoppers on these lines, and these ice stoppers are keeping the lines free. So when the fish do hit, even if it ices up, you got ice around the ice stopper in the hole, the line still slides freely. Works great with ice riggers. It's also good with wind tip-ups or any other line really. You know, if you've got a dead stick rod sitting out, or if you're fishing outside when it's really cold, that keeps the hole open through where the line's passing, and you don't ever have to worry about missing a fish because anything's froze up. All right, well, your turn, Scott. What do we got going here?
I'm not sure yet, Tom, but we're going to find out here shortly.
You never know what you're going to catch on an ice rigger. Nice, you got that braided line on this one. That's
It holds that ice stopper a lot better, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't tend to coil as much either, I think. It
No.
works a little better with that.
All right, here we go, guys.
Feeling them? There you go.
Ooh.
There you are. How's it feel?
Feels like it might be a perch. Not fighting real hard right now.
There you go. Oh, that's a nice perch.
Another nice perch.
Nice
Yeah.
perch.
There you go.
Lively.
it's kind of a fun little system because you can come out, you can catch any of these. You can catch pike, you can catch walleyes, and we can catch perch, all basically in the same area, just using little different systems. That was actually a little larger minnow on this one, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, a little larger perch.
Yep.
That's a nice perch.
In a hurry, we can release them.
There we go. Perfect.
10, 11 inches.
Yeah, nice one. We'll let him go fight another day.
Now, I see, Scott, you've got the single hook on there. Do you feel that single hook's an advantage over a treble hook for any reason, or is that just what you happen to have in your tackle box at the time we rigged up?
Well, my thoughts on it are it's not quite as big and bulky.
Okay.
I accept the fact that you don't have the 2 extra barbs to catch the fish,
Okay.
but I think it's less bulk down there, and it presents the bait in a natural manner.
Okay.
And to us at Fish Hunter Guide Service, that's what we're focusing on is presenting the bait as natural as we possibly can to the fish.
Perfect. Well, let's put another minnow on there and get another natural presentation, see if we can catch another fish. Okay.
Well, let's do that. All right, sounds good.
Let's learn something. Time for a TGO tackle tip.
One of the nicest things about the ice rigger, Gary, is the versatility. And we all know you can use anything from an ultralight system for panfish right on up to a heavy action system for pike or even lake trout. But your original design actually had an adjustable rod holder on it, correct?
Yes.
And I think that's a really, really brilliant idea because it helps you to accommodate those different systems. Obviously, a heavier action rod normally has a larger reel on it, and the ultralights have a smaller reel. Well, we got talking, and we said, we have an adjustable rod holder that we have a clamp on. You can use it on buckets, ice fishing, and it's also got a screw down design at the base. It's molded so you can attach it to a pier or a dock for summer fishing. And why not put that on the ice rigger? And you offered to help out and put this together. And I think this is really going to work out nicely. Basically, if you do any kind of fishing during the summertime, you've probably used a rod holder when you're out trolling. And this works on the same principle. There's a knob right here. I can loosen this up, and it allows me to change the angle that rod sits here on the ice rigger. So if I'm using a larger reel or some different style reels, I can actually take it, I can change it, raise the angle up higher like this, or of course I'm using an ultralight, I can lower it down. You can see that this is positioned quite a bit higher. Even with this ultralight reel, I like that angle, Gary. I think that works out nicely. But if we were using a larger reel, this of course would accommodate that. And something else too, you were talking to me about actually kind of sliding that reel off to the side a little bit to accommodate the flag limit trips, especially with some of the bigger reels. And I think that's a great idea as well. You can do that very easily with this design. And you put together 2 of these?
Yes, 2 of them.
Okay, so we got the other one we can get in. I think we should put them both down and see if we can catch some fish.
Yeah, let's go do it.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, we have not there.
There we go.
There you go.
I
Beautiful.
want to put a little fight on there.
Yeah.
There we go. I don't think this is a perch unless it's a South Dakota record.
Looks like a nice fish.
You're gonna land them for him, Scott?
Yeah, I'll land him for
All
you,
right.
Tom.
Oh, you're going to do it.
Yep. I'll get my hands wet and cold.
There he is.
Comes.
More fishing action online at tgofishing.com.
Looks like a nice fish.
You're gonna land them for him, Scott?
Yeah, I'll land him for
All
you,
right.
Tom.
Oh, you're going to do it.
Yep. I'll get my hands wet and cold.
There he is.
Comes.
Oh, nice.
Look at
one.
that.
Hey, now that's what it's all about.
We just had to bring
here.
Scott into this scene to help us out. That's awesome.
That's a beautiful fish.
Well, that's here we go. I mean, now we've caught some northern pike, we've caught some perch, and now a walleye. And that's the nice part of this system is it's sensitive enough that you can catch the smaller fish or light biting fish like walleyes, and of course you can catch some more aggressive ones like pike and whatnot
That's
too.
a nice 22, 23 incher.
That's beautiful.
Gonna weigh about 4 pounds.
Pretty.
That's a really nice South Dakota fish.
Yes,
I love it. Thanks for putting us on that.
You ready to let him go?
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
before he freezes.
There we go. We got him.
Nice job, guys.
All right.
That's what we come here for.
That's it.
Hey, it's been a terrific day out here in South Dakota's Glacial Lakes region. I want to thank Gary Coleman, the inventor of the ice rigger, for coming along with us and showing us just how impressive and how well that particular unit works. You know, if you really enjoy ice fishing, no matter what kind it might be, tip-ups, tip-downs, jigging, whatever, you might want to give these ice riggers a try. They're versatile, they're very effective, and they're a lot of fun to fish. That's the most important thing. I also want to thank both Gary and Scott Gangle from Fish Hunter Guide Service for taking us along out here and helping show us a few spots where we can find some of these fish. And Jan over at Royal Lake Resort as well. Wonderful, wonderful accommodations. If you're interested in coming out and taking a special trip, you might want to consider South Dakota's Glacial Lakes region. It's an awful lot of fun, a lot of things going on, so be sure to check it out. Lots of lakes, multi-species. We came out here, we caught perch, and we've caught pike. There's a lot of lakes with walleyes. There's some nice crappie fishing out here. And they also catch some bass and even bluegills out here through the ice. So if you're really interested in taking a trip, it's a great destination because if the walleyes don't have to be biting, you could switch to pike. If the pike aren't biting, you might be able to switch over to the perch or the crappie. Lots of opportunities, lots of fun, and that's what it's all about. Hey, thank you so much for joining us here. We appreciate you coming out, watching us on TGO, where it's all ice fishing all the time.
TGO has been brought to you by HT, premium ice tackle since 1974. Polar Fire Gear, this is how it's done. Tourism Saskatchewan, Canada's best freshwater fishing. Vexilar, ice fishing begins when you turn your Vexilar on. Kalispell, Montana, discovery in every direction. And these other fine sponsors. TGO, where it's all ice fishing all the time.